Bro!
Look at the freaking graphics, yo!
Kung Fu, the best cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in the
I love this.
Look at that freaking sequence, though!
Wow, and that's
Oh,
gameplay.
this is gameplay?
What the fuck?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Sit in. Get cozy, because we're gonna be checking out today a video that has been going viral over here in the West so much.
And in China also, which is quite interesting. It's actually a promotional video for a video game. And a lot of people are obviously very excited for it. I'm very intrigued on seeing how they will intertwine music, martial arts, and...
A game.
There is no technique.
What are you thinking when facing your opponent?
And there is no opponent.
Why is that?
Bruce?
Is that Bruce Lee?
Because I do not
It is.
exist.
He was so wise for his
A
time.
good
Come
martial
on.
artist
What a
never
legend.
becomes tense.
Ah.
Without thinking yet, without dreaming.
Bro!
Look at the freaking graphics, yo!
Kung Fu, the best example
It
is
is,
a
yeah.
glass of water. Every Kung Fu man is trying to do that. To be soft like water and flexible and adapt itself to the opponent.
Bro, the music, it is so cool.
Empty your mind. Be formless.
Be formless.
Shaped
I love this quote.
like water. When you
Yeah.
put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in the
I love this.
Look at that freaking sequence, though.
The water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Okay, hold on a second, hold on a second. Pause, bro.
Freaking epicness.
Fire. The video does something really well in terms of production, which I think other industries should really pick this up. There are some that are truly doing it from different parts of the world, but out of our consistency in checking out the Chinese music industry and Chinese entertainment, they seem to really focus on this, especially in gaming promotions and in gaming experiences. You can utilize sound effects and auditory stimulation combined with the visual stimulation. I've said this before, if you're a big follower of the channel, you can utilize different elements of sound and combine them congruently with the musical elements. Because at the end of the day, music, it's simply sound dynamics. We try to, similar to the philosophy of Bruce Lee, we try to make him into any shape we can, because music itself is formless, it's an abstract concept. So to utilize that, if we really start analyzing this really deeply, look how smart this is, right? You're utilizing an abstract concept of mixing in Chinese traditional folklore, which does already have a form, right? A category, a genre, a structure. And you utilize the analogy of water, and you use it quite blatant by having Bruce Lee speaking of it, and you start to bring different elements, modernization perhaps, different elements of stimulation, auditory, to change the infrastructure of folk with the sounds of the movements in the water.
It is a
That's not bad, you know?
It's a phenomenal intro. I also think this is a great way to introduce yourself into Chinese folklore.
Yeah.
It's a
This is
really
the right
great-
way to do it.
Yeah, I think this, if you didn't have a clue of who Bruce Lee was, because I mean, very little people, I would say, don't know who Bruce Lee is. But if you are new and this is to martial arts and this is the way that you get introduced to it, it's a very exciting new discovery.
If we see him as an icon,
Yes.
right, in your motherland, you would be perceived as an icon of icons and
Correct.
truly someone who marked an era of both cinema and martial arts. But for us in the West, he became he embodied essentially martial arts per se. Like, there's very few people on earth, I find, or especially here in the West, that when you think of martial arts, they don't think of the traditional kung fu Chinese movies that have Bruce Lee as the protagonist, you know, Fist of the Dragon, the iconic scene of Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris.
That's amazing, man.
So the thing we always argue, just as you know,
As we talk.
it's like, would have Bruce Lee like beaten world champions at the UFC at the moment in the current time?
I think so. I genuinely think so, because he was very in trend. Like, he would pick up a lot of the
He was an innovator of his time.
Correct. So I think he would have prepared for each fight in a very unusual and new way.
Yeah, I mean, like if you bring Bruce Lee from the old, right, from his time, and then you bring him now here, he wouldn't do well, because there's too much technology, there's too much training methods, we know too much about nutrition now, recovery, and also there's the grappling aspect of it, right?
That's true.
He was too early in that sense, where grappling hadn't evolved to what it has evolved now. So now if you get Bruce Lee of then, but you bring him to the present and you let him train, right? You let him train grappling, you let him train some more sophisticated
With all the
stand-up.
tools, yeah.
He would have 100% become a world champion. I think that's
definitely.
undeniable.
Yeah.
Like, martial arts have evolved so much in the last 20 years, you know?
It has.
And he was an innovator of his time, which lets me know he probably would have innovated here. Because
Correct.
those types of people, it's like saying, I believe world champions of a specific era could still become world champions now if they're given the same tools.
Correct.
And if they were at the same age. I mean, we're talking time traveling here.
We're talking time travel.
Because ballet does Tai Chi, and we do boxing as well. And not at a pro level or anything like that, just for the sake of health and practicing a lot of these mentalities and presence.
But I just think it's brilliant to unify both of these principles, and how adaptable this way of life it actually feels so many aspects of living, and not just from a martial arts perspective, but from a musical perspective.
Yep.
And it just overall is awesome.
I'm impressed so far.
Cool.
Wow, and that's
Oh,
gameplay.
this is gameplay?
What the fuck?
Oh, the freaking sound! Is that a Swona?
I think it is. I think that is a swan. Tense. Angst.
That is awesome! Guys!
Bro, what the
The music is so awesome.
Dun, dun. Staccato to sort of make that punchy feel.
And they have the distorted electric guitars.
What the?
And the water on the floor, that is such a nice touch. And the camera gets wet.
Yeah, and you're seeing now the proper fusion element in music as well. Sick. Toma,
Ooh,
toma.
listen to the dynamics in the music.
Come on, man, you're getting your ass handed to you. The developer playing right now. Wait.
I love the melody here.
Oh, the 1 inch. Is that a reference to the 1 inch punch?
Yeah. What? What are we doing? What? Oh, the sound effects though. This is a mobile game?
You must liberate your ambition,
Sheesh.
not to think, to feel.
That's so freaking
All right,
cool.
take my money.
I'm in.
原本不应该是这样。
Listen to the credit music.
不住了，正比到呢。
Are you?
That was the first
跟
one.
着王道长
I've seen that one.
Are we moving through the timeline in the game as well?
谁都消点力气了。
Very
That's
cool.
incredible. My God, that's the game.
有种过来！
It seems to have a lot of care behind it, a lot of thoughts behind stuff.
That is so dynamic, and the music is just so full of adventure.
玩玩，搭上命就不迟了。
The voice acting is phenomenal.
I'm very hopeful as well, because I've been following this for a little while actually. If this does revolutionize like mobile gaming, that means other people will then go ahead and copy this type of style. And I think a lot of people, like especially here in the West, you know, like it's such a good. People will might wonder as well, what the hell was that pinging sound in the battle? Well, that's a Swona. There's a little bit of Chinese culture, a little bit of Chinese music. Then we can introduce them to some music that has Swona, that's more maybe hip hoppy or that's more rock based. Putting our differences and stuff like that aside and just enjoying the best parts of us, which are our creations such as music and art.
I love the idea of utilizing a distorted guitar, a rock fusion style that is very modern in terms of like video game. You hear a lot of this like electric bass and electric guitars being used, and it kind of sets the tone to what the battle and the gameplay will be. I love that you get very atmospheric sound effects that add to that experience, and the whole interactive nature of the water and the environment. It felt so three-dimensional.
Correct.
And it's so I'm
Impressive,
honestly so impressed.
impressive.
Yeah.
I looked up, you know, in the ending scene where there's like Chinese text and the Chinese speaking.
Yeah.
It's actually from the Book of Changes. In Chinese it's called Jing Jin. And the Book of Changes is an ancient Chinese divination text and one of the oldest classics in China. The Book of Changes has become the subject of academic commentary and the foundation of divination practices throughout the Far East.
My goodness.
And it has played an important role in understanding East Asian philosophical thought in the process of Western understanding.
That is ridiculous. Like, that's the reason why these projects are
Feels a little bit more grounded. If you are a fan or you are looking forward to playing this, should give you a little bit of peace of mind, because the more grounding it has, the more roots, the stronger the roots, the better the story will end up being, the better this type of details. The promotional video quotes one of the hexagrams from the Book of Changes, and it says, "Follow the conventional principles and act according to your wishes." Complex.
That is, you have to sit with that phrase for a
Follow
little
the
bit.
convention. Perhaps it's one of the interpretations. When you're starting in this world, you should practice life with a simple and honest attitude, without pretenses. Although it may not bring good fortune, at least there won't be any faults.
It's like going around in the world with a good base morals, like understanding that you cannot be shaken because your morals are great in foundation.
Perhaps this may not bring you the riches and fortune that you seek, but it will certainly make you a good human being. Apply that to music and martial arts, right? Learn the basics. Do not be flashy. Do not ornament everything. Do not add your style yet. Give it time to simmer, the foundation especially. To continue with this kind of approach, one must not be influenced by societal norms and must be unique. I guess this is the evolution, right? For example, Li Siwang, based on his geological exploration in China, felt that there were oil fields in the country. However, foreign experts consider it a fantasy. But Li Siwang believed his theory was correct and didn't pay attention to the opinions of foreign experts, and finally found oil fields in China.
I think this principle should be promoted more often, and I think the accessibility of these principles through art and entertainment, like this video game, allows for people to be introduced to a new way of thinking that maybe perhaps isn't so accessible for a lot of the people. And it's so interesting and it's so exciting that, because I think I've learned a lot through music videos and music itself. I've learned a lot about the culture of the world through books that I've read and things like that. And I think entertainment per se, it's such a great way to learn.
Things the way forward, I agree.
And this is the best way to be introduced to a brand new way of thinking, a new philosophy. It kind of discover and explore them in your own time.
Cool way, yeah.
As well as playing a freaking dope video game.
Very tempted to play this myself. I presume Vale also probably likes to give
Definitely,
it a go.
I'm so down.
Let us know. Obviously, only time will tell, right, when the game releases and whether it lives up to all of our expectations. But let us know in the comment section below if you're looking forward to it. And aside from that,
It has very strong foundation, so I'm really looking forward to it.
goodbye.